Hey guys, and welcome to the next tutorial. Today we're going to have a look at something I saw on the Adobe Make It Now YouTube channel. They created this really cool wavy text, and here's my little spin on how to create something like this. So here are some examples. We've got a nice little gradient, and the text kind of waves. It's got a black background. We learn how to just do the stroke down here. Anyways, let's get started. So we're going to go and we're going to create a new document. Now I'm just starting on a custom document, 1000 by 1000. If you want an A4, you can always pick A4 there. Alright, and click on create. Just going to make sure that my layers panel is up. If you don't have it, you can go into window, layers, or just press F7. The first thing I need to do is I'm going to draw a rectangle, or a square really, on my background, and I'm just going to change the color to black. Alright, so I'm going to call this my background layer. Now I'm going to lock that because I don't want it to move at all. I need to grab some text, and I want the text to be white. So I'm just going to click on the foreground color. So I'm going to create a new layer, and then these layers you can just leave, or if you want to rename it text, you can. So grab the T tool, and what you need to do is you just need to draw a triangle, and then you need to write some kind of cool word. So my color is black, so you can't see it. So I'm just going to change that color to white. And I'm just going to, and I'm going to go back into my properties, and I'm going to change the font to impact because it's a pretty thick font, and I'm going to change the size. So you can put any size you want. There's my cool word. You don't want to do it too big because you have to duplicate it a few times over. So I'm going to keep it probably at 200, and I'm just going to change it to all caps. So I'm just going to rewrite it. Cool word. So the next thing that we need to do after we've got one word is we need to create another word. So I'm going to just create a new layer, and I'm just going to call it second word. I'm going to repeat the process again. So T tool, alright, draw a rectangle, and I'm just going to, this time I'm going to change I'm going to have it to have a white stroke and actually no fill. So I'm just going to click on no fill. And I need to go to properties, and I need to make sure that it's a bit smaller, and there's my word. If I need to make my stroke a little bit bigger, I can do that as well. So once you're happy with your two words, I'm just going to move it off the edge a little bit. Okay, and maybe actually move it down as well. Actually, both of them. So now I've got all this space to do my, the wave text. Okay, so the next thing that you have to do is you need to make sure that you can click on your first word, and then you go to create outlines. So right click, create outlines. You grab the selection tool to actually do that. Okay, and once you've done that, then you need to create a rectangle that goes over this word. So I'm just going to do this on another layer. So I just clicked on create another layer, and I'm going to make sure that the fill, there's no fill, and I'm going to have a white stroke. Okay, so the stroke is the outline. So I'm just going to make sure that I get the whole word, and I draw a rectangle around it. Once I've done that, I then need to go to Object, Path, Split into Grid, and here I'm going to put it into 10 rows. So it's going to look like that. And then what I need to do is I need to now go back to my selection tool. I need to highlight both of those. So I don't need this one. All right, I just need these two highlighted. All right, and then I need to open up my Pathfinder panel. So I'll need to go to Windows, Pathfinder, and then this thing pops up. Now there's heaps of things in here, but the one that we need to click on is divide. Okay, so if you click on this, all right, nothing really happens too much, but it just separates all of those things together. Once you've done that, all right, you can still have it highlighted. And then you go to Object, Ungroup, and then you're ready for the next step. Now the next step requires this tool, which is the Magic Wand tool. Now if you're on the latest version of Illustrator, you will find it in these little 3 dots, and you can actually edit your toolbar and you can just drag it in if you like. Or if you're on the older versions, I think it's around about up here underneath the 3rd or so tool. So then what you need to do is you just click on the magic wand and you click on the path, and now you can actually delete it. So now I've gotten rid of all of those the boxes around everything, but you can see here that now all this stuff inside the letters are editable. All right, so the final thing we need to do is we need to press Ctrl Y to get into our outline mode. And once we're here, now we can really start to do some of the fun stuff with the wave. Alright, so the first thing you're going to learn here is we are going to learn how to duplicate something. So we're going to highlight that word, we are going to hold Alt on our keyboard, and then you can see how there's 2 of those selection tools. You've got a white and black one. That means that when I click and drag, alright, the whole thing will duplicate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to try and make sure that everything is in alignment. So I'm really trying to follow this point here, and there's a pink line that says intersect, and that just kind of shows that it's straight. So once you've got one word done, alright, what you can do is you're just going to take off a small section of that word, and then I'm going to highlight it again, and I'm just going to bring it down, not too close, but just enough so it's just on top of the other word. And then I'm going to repeat the process again. So I'm going to make sure that I try to get it in the exact same spot. So once you're finished putting all of your duplicates on top of each other and then removing a slice from it, you can go back into or out of outline view, and you can see that it already creates a pretty cool effect. Now there's probably some things I'd probably want to clean up, like maybe that little section there or that little section there, but overall I think it looks pretty cool. So then the next thing that we have to do is we will have to unite all of these things up so that we can actually apply some kind of wave effect to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight all of those words again, go back to Windows, Pathfinder, and I'm going to click on this thing called Unite. And so what Unite will do is we'll bring them all together. Now to actually do the wave effect, we need to go to Effect, Warp, go to Wave, and you can start to play around with some of the settings here. If I change the wave effect to a vertical effect and only have a bend of 10%, you can see what happens. If I increase the bend, a more dramatic effect will occur. So I'm going to try and do a horizontal effect. It's a little bit different to the vertical effect, and you can see what is actually happening there. Once you're happy with your preview, you can press OK. You can click anywhere to unselect, and there you've got that wave effect in motion. The last thing you need to do is apply some kind of color or gradient to it. So the easiest way to do this is to grab the rectangle tool again, draw a box over the text. Okay, don't worry too much about the color for now. You need to go into your properties, and if you click on the fill, you can see that just by default Illustrator have these few gradients here. So the one I was using is this blue one, and basically once you're done with that, you can then go to opacity and then change it to darken, and that will just kind of keep it to the text on its own. Once you're happy with that, you can export that as a PNG if you want. You can save it, and that's about it. So anyways guys, I hope you've learned something today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.